So what I'd like to do is actually just start with a few things that might be surprising to people or people might be aware of. One, I think this one is pretty obvious. Fundraising has to be mission driven. Okay? The thing that I see a lot in a lot of organizations is that it's cost driven. And what this means is we have an idea, you have this really great idea, and you say it, and then the very next sentence back is, oh, we can't afford it. You know, or if we're more subtle, we say, can we afford it? But in any case, cost becomes the second thing to be considered. When cost is obviously a factor, but it has to be considered later after we've kind of really locked it. Is this a really good idea? If money were no object, would we do it? Does it make sense for our mission? Okay. And I feel like a lot of organizations get into a very bad habit of just kind of thinking we can afford that, we can't afford that, and that's how they decide everything. Let's look at the next thing. The next principle is kind of says that the purpose of fundraising is not to raise money. Okay, obviously we're going to raise money. That's an end result. But the purpose of fundraising is to build relationships. I don't really want a donation because I want a donor. I want somebody. I don't want a gift. I want a giver. I want somebody who likes what I did with the money. They like how I treated them as a result of the gift, and they want to give again. And not only do they want to give again and again, but they go out and they ask their friends to give. So your donors become little ambassadors for your organization. And I think this is really important. The next thing I want to kind of look at that you need to have in place as you go kind of forward in your fundraising is what we call a case statement. It's just a fundraising kind of jargon for a document that basically answers a bunch of questions. It's an actual document and basically says, why do you exist? What do you do? How do you do it? How long have you been doing it? What do you have to show for yourself? How much does it cost to be your group? And where do you get your money? And finally, how are you structured? How do people get involved? You put it together in one thing, and everybody in your organization has a copy of it. Everybody in your organization is on literally the same page, like literally that, so they kind of know what you're about. We always say in fundraising, the other thing is to ask your most faithful, most loyal donors most often. Your donors are people who give you money, but your donors are also people like you're saying these where you get your pizzas. If you, in terms of sponsorship, if you tend to use the same vendors over and over, you tend to always go to an office supply place, you tend to always buy from certain restaurants. I mean, to really make that known to them, to just say, you know, we like you, we really think you have really high quality, we really appreciate you're always on time. Well, business people are used to, they're used to kind of bargaining, or they're used to kind of, yeah, you know, I'll buy a little of this, but if I buy this much more, you know, if I buy 30 copies, can I have 50% off? I mean, this is the world they live in. They're not offended by it. They don't think anything about it. And the worst thing that will happen is be like, no, I can't really help you out. But probably the worst thing that will happen, actually, is you'll get 15% or 20% knocked off the price. That's like the worst thing that will happen. If you want to kind of ratchet it up maybe one level, would be to actually create a little sheet of paper. Something that says, you know, in return, these are our corporate sponsor levels for free pizza. We're prepared to, and then you would really say, put your name on our website, tell everybody about it. That becomes a little bit that kind of principle of exchange. Like people pay you to do work they can't do by themselves. Okay, so you're thinking about basketball. That's what you're building a basketball court. Is that what you said? Every community should have a place like this, and a lot of communities don't. And it's a real missing thing. So I believe that, but what can I do about it? There's nothing I can do about it by myself. Okay, but I say, oh, here's my community needs a community center. This is great. So I'm going to put in some money for that. So that's a real exchange. It's a more kind of what do you do for people in return, and who's going to buy what you do. Okay. Finally, just some quick tips on asking for money. First tip, success in fundraising is all about asking. It's got to be okay with you for people to say no. People say no, okay? Remember that what you believe in has to be bigger than what embarrasses you. Don't ask everybody, okay? And finally, put yourself in the donor's shoes. People love to give away their money. I have this on my computer, running across the computer. It says givers give. It's just a continuous loop. And I just remember, the people who give away money are going to give it away, and they're going to give it to you, or to you, or to me, or to you. And my job is to just get on the menu. You're going to be giving away this money. I'd like you to consider my group. That's my whole job. And it's a pretty, it's not an easy job, but it's not an anxiety. When you think of it that way, it's not that full of anxiety. I want to look now, though, at if you want money. This is the order in which you're going to go. You're going to do a lot of personal solicitation. Okay? When we ask somebody who we know, and we know a couple things about them, we know they give away money, or an 8 out of 10 who give, and we know they care about our cause, and we have some idea about what might be an appropriate gift, okay? So we take all the people we know and we narrow down to that, and we ask those people for money. About half of them are going to give us money. If we look at personal phone call, not telemarketers, personal phone call, okay, when you call friends, you see that percentage drops pretty much, okay? It's easy to say no on the phone. Personal letter. This is the favorite strategy of shy people, is a personal letter. So you're going to think, well, you know what, I'm just going to send a letter to my friends, and I don't want to embarrass them, and I don't want to put them on the spot. And so I'll just send a nice letter, personal, but I won't follow up. Okay? And that's why these kind of letters really don't do too well. Let's look at impersonal strategies, okay? Phone-a-thon. That's where you phone people that you don't know, but give to another cause you think might be interested, okay? Direct mail or online. This isn't your website, which just sits there. This is an actual active email solicitation. You look at about a 1% response. And then the thing that is kind of least effective just for money is a special event. Okay. So what is a special event good for?
Celebration.
Yeah, absolutely. Celebration, building community. What else?
Bring about awareness.
Awareness, visibility, everything we want to do except money, right? That's exactly right. Everything we want to do except money, the special event is great. And the special event can raise money. But when money is the thing you need and all the other stuff you don't need, then I would not do an event.